Back at it. I think I pretty much got the trailer squared away. There's one more thing that I might do, but there's the stairs that I added. They work really, really well, of course, to be able to come right up board. The one thing I'm still thinking about doing, moving this spare tire back a little bit and getting one more like on my other boat trailer. And if I put it there, that's also a guide bringing the boat in. But here again, I shouldn't have an issue with it unlining from the trailer because of the roller trailer. I've got did some electrical work. I took it down to the lake the other day and ran the engines. One sputtered and wasn't super happy, so I switched a fuel line over that I fixed, and it started purring like a kitten. So that just tells me that the water separators are one's bad or clogged. So I ordered 2 new one of those. I should have anyway. I've been working on the electrical system. I got all that cleaned up. All the house power, everything, the charger, everything came back to these batteries. So the only thing that each battery starts its own engine, that's all it does, and it's getting charged off its own bank. That's the only thing that goes back here. These batteries are going to satisfy the engines, and that's it. I pulled all the house wiring back. That's not that much. The Wallace stove and the power line to the circuit panel inside. I pulled those back. I shortened them up. I still have a lot of housekeeping to do, of course, to get this finished up. But there's the battery charger. And I brought these batteries back. Added one more. This is my house battery. That's going to run all the navionics, everything else. I'll pull. I'm a heavy duty fisherman, so I'm going to pull dedicated lines back for just my fish finder, so there's no interference. But that now is going to run the house. I have no worries. I've got the Garmin ready to mount. I got to build the backbone system for it. I have the new GPS antenna. That I was lucky that there was 2 there before, and the existing mount, my Garmin fit right on it. So that's for the satellite antenna, just to improve location. I'm going to start get this mounted and start building the backbone. The transducer came in as you guys saw in another video. I installed that. That's hooked up. So now I just need to get back here and start working on the backbone. And there's where the power comes in. So looking good. Just a short update. If you haven't done your own networking, the NEMA 2000, and you're all the terms of the backbone and all that, it's not a big deal. They call this your backbone. Each piece cable, like this Chartplotter, came with a cable and one drop. We'll call these a vertebrae. They want to call that a backbone. So there'll be a place on the back of your unit, Eco Maps, whatever, for the NEMA 2000. And you'll take that cable that came with it, with your unit, and that's your drop. That drops down, and that will hook to one of the backbones. And every time you buy, like the power cord, you have to have, sorry about that, you have to power the backbone. So you'll have a power for the backbone. We'll add a vertebrae like that. Okay, so that's going to be the power. This one will drop to the unit. Make sure that when you start your network that you have these ends, the termination ends. You're going to have one's a male, one's a female. You have to have that, because what happens you're gonna have signals in there bouncing around, and what these do is keep them bouncing even. That power does not power your Chartplotter, your unit. That will come with its own power cord. Your transducer does not go through the NEMA. So what I'll have on this boat to start with, these are accessories. So I'll have the power to one vertebrae, the Chartplotter to another, and this is going to be my exterior GPS antenna. And I have a bunch of cable and fittings, so, but anyhow, I just want to give a basic breakdown on the NEMA 2000. I hope I didn't confuse anybody, but it really is that simple. Your termination ends, your backbone, you will power this backbone and the other NEMA accessories through that, like my GPS antenna. The unit powers itself. It does not power that backbone. The unit will only retrieve and send data through the NEMA 2000 port. That's it. So I'm going to get this area cleaned up over here. Here's my power cord that came with my Chartplotter. Here's the transducer. Of course, I had to order the quick connect because I had this transducer GT 40,000 UHD 54 UHD laying around. So that's what I'm going to use on this Chartplotter, and clean this area up and get mounting that. Okay, I'm going to mount this right here, and I have the ends that are, these are going to face me. A lot of times they face the other way. I drilled my bracket for these existing holes. It came, of course, with the slotted holes. So I'm going to mount it right like that, and then that lines up great with that profile. And the face of the unit should sit almost flush, like it's mounted in dash mounted, and I don't restrict or block any of my view out the window. So I'm going to do that, get that mounted on. I've got a spare piece of rubber that I'm going to put down underneath there just to help for small vibrations and whatever else. Just something I like to do. So get that mounted up. Alright, we got the mount on there, little piece of rubber underneath there, and it is solid, even with just 2 screws, and the face of it's probably going to be sitting about right here. So I'm going to get my, first of all, I need to put this connector on the transducer line, my power line. I have the backbone drop hooked up. The backbone's going to be back behind the dash. So I'm going to get these cords hooked up, get the unit set, and start working on the backbone. Just a little more information when I keep saying this collar. Garmin leaves the end of the transducer like that. That way it makes the hole smaller. That's one thing about Garmin products. They're not known for their brakes to where you can put something small through it. It's stuff like that. So, and I couldn't find one of these. So all they do is snap on, and then I'll get my O-ring in there. But that's how you thread them on. These snap together. Just like that. And then that'll be your washer that you thread onto the unit after you put the O-ring in there, of course. Okay, have the transducer hooked up. There's the split nut that we put on. Power and the NEMA 2000 drop. And I'm putting them all behind here. I don't have to drill any holes. And I have there's that loose floppy wire right there is coming from my GPS antenna. It heads the same place where our backbone's going to be. So that's our look at what we're going to have. It's mounted up right there. Got a nice little gap to keep it off the dash, lessen vibration. Have the rubber piece under the mount. So work on the electrical part of it now. Okay, we have the Chartplotter mounted. All the cables are nice. Come down there to the back. I have the cable tied up that comes from the GPS antenna. These are speaker wires that are existing. I leave my tails long like that on my zip ties as I'm wiring stuff. That way, if I have to come back and cut it loose, I know which ones to cut. I'm not hunting for them. Down here, we've got everything wired up. Here's the backbone. Terminator ends. It's nice and solid. We have the cable for the GPS antenna exterior, the power for the backbone, the NEMA 2000, and this goes to the Chartplotter. And if we want to add on any more accessories, we just take this termination piece off and keep building our backbone, as many as we want. Let's power up the unit and see what we got. Oh, we've got power. They take a minute to power up sometimes, especially when they've been off. There we are. That's where we sit right now. There's the lake. Let's go into charts. See what that's Vision Plus shading with GPS. Looks pretty good. That's our active captain modes. And before, see how it says sonar? Now we have a sonar button. That's because the transducer's hooked up, and of course you're not going to get anything. But when you buy this and you bench test it and download your software, of course sonar won't come up until you have a transducer hooked up to it. So that's way cool. That means that's working. There's our settings over there. We don't need any of that right now. Well, we can go see what we got for communication. There's our communication right there. So now we'll set up the NEMA, and it's probably just going to ask device list. There we go right there. GPS right there. No name. So we can go in. We can the device GPS, so we can name this let's just name it Cdory. That's naming the Chartplotter in the NEMA system. We can go down here and we don't need to name that either. See how it filled those in? So that means it's reading everything. We don't have a J1939 setup. That's another port that's on the back of this. Marine network. Anyway, there you have it. We're getting super close to getting this bad boy out on the water. Let's go back to charts. Need to download my waypoints off my other boat onto here too. Anyhow, keep on moving. And I do have, there's three separate, as far as the 12 volts go, system. One's 24 volt for the trolling motor. That's under there as we saw the install. The battery charger for that's 24 volt comes around and it'll plug in right here. So I have, and then there's the 12 volt system for the batteries. That's standalone. And then we have the house down here. However, when you plug this into shore power, it will be its own system. It will power the charger to the batteries for the starting batteries. It will power the charger to the house. and it will power the charger for the trolling motor batteries. Everything's covered. So I need to get it cleaned up, tidied up, tightened up, and anyhow, there'll be more to come. One more cool thing about this unit. So here's my notepad, and it could be your phone, whatever else. Go to the Active Captain app. A lot of people already know this. I'm just showing. You can go throughout the boat, whatever, or even in the house, but you can do your own stuff. So now it found, we're going to hit connect right here. And there's Cdory. So right now, see the Chartplotter sending out its own Wi-Fi signal, not Bluetooth. There we go. And if I have any downloads I want to do, any chart stuff, I sync, because I can go on here and do my own chart work wherever I want, whatever lake I want to do. This is where we're at now. I can make adjustments, set waypoints, and then sync it with this Garmin, and it'll put it on there so I don't have to do it in two places. I can actually, from anywhere in the boat, we'll let that come up. I can control, I can see exactly what's on the chart plotter, and I can control it, as you can see. So you can actually be doing, like, I'll have my live scope and stuff set up back here in the back, and I don't need another unit now. I can be going off of this. Anyway, it's a pretty cool feature. So everything's on there. Like I said, I can run it from either there or here. Pretty cool.